Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all well. If you've not met me before, my name's Jenny and this is Eco and Crafts. On this channel I like to do different videos on different types of arts and crafts, whether that be homeware, clothing, jewellery, things like that. I like to try and reuse things where I can. I've tried to have a bit of an emphasis on sustainability. If that sounds like the sort of things that are interesting to you, then I would love for you to subscribe and you can continue joining me on this journey. But otherwise, as you've seen from the video title, I've turned these pyjamas into a selection of kind of baby children's wear, and I've tried to use every possible scrap of the fabric, and I mean kind of every possible scrap of the fabric. I'm not a sewer, and if any of you guys are sewers, you'll be able to probably see that very quickly. These are literally the first items of clothing I've ever made. I've bought a really cheap sewing machine secondhand recently. It's like a John Lewis mini sewing machine in bright pink. It has only very basic functions. I have, as I said, literally no skill level, and I think I've still managed to create some, wearable things for a infant, toddler, and it's just, it's reusing kind of all bits of fabric is firstly a really good way to practice, so you're not going to ruin more expensive fabrics, but at the same time, just because something doesn't fit you or suit you anymore, it means you can potentially reuse things for other generations or other people who might still like those fabric designs, or you can make them into something a bit cuter if you kind of shrink it down a bit. So that's what I've tried to do here. I've tried to film what I've done, so you get the vague idea, but obviously this is just to kind of, for inspiration really, because if you're trying to repurpose some of your own clothes, it's not going to be the same size, the same cut, same patterns as what I've got here. So it's just to kind of give you ideas really of the sort of things you could potentially achieve. You'll probably achieve better, if I'm honest. So I've tried to do some videos to show how I've made the things I've made. Hopefully it's relatively clear. If you've got any questions at all, put them in the comments box below. I'll try and do my best to answer them. If you've got any ideas of other things I could have made with the fabric I had, again, I'll be really interested to know what you have to say, because I do have some other things I'd kind of like to upcycle as well. So to show you what I've managed to make with a pyjama top and pyjama bottoms, and I did make quite a few errors, so there is, to be honest, a few scraps of wasted fabric, but this is what I've got in completed items. So the first thing I made was actually this cute little skirt, the little pockets. So the waistband, I'll go through all the rest of the video, but the waistband is the original waistband that I've shortened down and kind of re-seamed the sides here. But the bow is just the favourite, like the bows are just the best things I've made, basically, this whole thing. But I just thought it was really cute. Obviously it's tiny, it's for a toddler, it's got a cute little pocket. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that came out, to be honest. I kind of, obviously the crotch would have been here and I cut along that line, but to add a bit of extra length, I've added like another panel along the bottom here. But yeah, really pleased with how that one turned out. And then I made a matching top, and the top took a couple of attempts, if I'm honest. So this is the little top. It's got a sort of drawstring top here. I used some of the t-shirt fabric to make the cord, and obviously you can tie in a little bow. I thought this was quite a good option, especially if you don't really know the size properly of the child, because you can just lengthen these out a bit and get a bit more length in the shoulder straps, and it could potentially fit them for a bit longer. So again, means you have to buy less items of clothing for your little ones. And again, just really basic sewing inside, really straight lines, basically all of these apart from the neckline. And this is basically a tube that the cord goes in, but again, I'll show you how I sort of managed to do it in the rest of the video. And then with the kind of extra bits and bats of the fabric that I had, I made another little headband. Love the bows. So yeah, cute little headband for her. And I'm just very nearly finishing this sort of twist headband here. So the idea is it will kind of twist in a bow. I need to stitch that so it stays twisted and looking like this and not just like I've sewed it badly. But I've just got to finish this one off still. But as I say, I've literally just got a few tiny little scraps of fabric. I might see if I can make a couple of maybe like bow hair clips, or I might just keep these little scraps, potentially extra bits of detailing. I'm sure I'll make loads of sort of baby children things for various friends and family that are having kids at the minute. So I'm sure I can turn more of these into little bows I can stick on loads of other different items of clothing that I'll be doing. But those are kind of the main completed things that I've got. They're not perfect, they're probably not going to any sort of event in these, but just running around, getting dirty, playing, to me it's perfect. And you know, it didn't cost me anything, it's not going to cost them anything, and you know, I think it's just something nice to do. And making baby wear is a really good way to practice making bigger things for yourself, because you can, I found I've learned so much doing this, just what works, what doesn't work, how to do the seams, loads of things that if you don't sew, which I don't normally, you don't think about. So I've learned so much in this, and I'm going to hopefully make myself a few things in the next few weeks, and the sort of things I've worked my way through while I've been doing this will have come in so useful. And as I say, you don't need any expensive equipment. The sewing machine, as I say, I got for second hand. You can get really cheap ones online. Mine's just a mini one. It doesn't do button functions, doesn't do, you know, have special zipper feet, anything like that. It's really just basic sewing machine that I got second hand. And then otherwise, if you just got some needle and thread just to finish off the edges, that's pretty much all you need for it. And obviously some scraps of fabric to work on, and whether that's pajamas. I've seen a few people on YouTube have made things out of old bed sheets, which is also a really good idea, because new fabric can be very expensive, and you know, if you've got things to use at home, why not use it instead? It's a bit more sustainable and it'll save you some money as well. So for the skirt, so obviously the crotch was around about here. I cut just straight across the bottom of that, so where the top of the legs were going to join, and because the skirt was still going to be a bit short, I added another band, which you can see here. And these are just the seams where I've joined the two things. It's all in straight lines, it's all really simple. And then for the waistband, so the elastic waistband is still the original waistband, but I opened up the seams on either side and made it smaller to the correct width for the child, and then sewed the fabric back over that, so it didn't irritate the skin or anything. For the bow, it's just a square piece of fabric, right sides together, sewn almost all the way around it, and then turn it inside out, and then hand stitch the final bit. Same with the band, but a small rectangular piece. And then the pocket, it does work as a little pocket, and as you can see, it's just a very simple shape, and the kind of edges fold under and then stitched down. This is the back, so the back is still pretty plain. It's just that band continuing on the bottom, and then obviously I hemmed it all to finish. So for the top, if you had enough fabric, then you just kind of cut it on the fold, so you'd have the front and the back halves already the same size, but I only had a separate piece of fabric, so I had to measure them all out so they'd be the same. So I did kind of the height and then a bit more for what I wanted, and then the width for what I wanted for the child. And then to make it more flared at the bottom, I did a kind of extra 3 centimeters at the top, at the side, and then a centimeter stitch allowance around there as well. So this is the top now that it's complete. So there's 4 seams making up the top. I just need to iron this flat, kind of one at the front and back, and then one at each side. And then obviously I've hemmed the bottom of the top. And then for the kind of drawstring roll top, as you can see here, I'll do an extra clip at the end. And then I made a cord again, and it's just by flipping the edges of the raw fabric under and then sewing along the edge of that and then turning up the edge of the cord. It was a bit fiddly, it took me a couple of attempts, but did it in the end. I'm really pleased with how it looks. And then this can be pulled through the cords at the front and the back to make the shoulder straps different lengths, which is really helpful. And then if I just flip it over to the back, so there it is at the back, again just plain, but obviously you can add whatever details or bows or pockets or anything on this that you wanted as well. And that's that. This is just to show you how I did the roll top. So I had the raw edges and I basically just curled it under and then sewed along a sort of lower curled edge to keep it all in place. You've got to make sure that it's going to be wide enough, the hole in the middle is going to be wide enough for your cord to be pulled through, which is why you need a bit of extra height when you're cutting your pattern pieces in the first place. For the headband, really simple, just a long piece of fabric that I sewed. So I put the right sides together and then sewed along the end, along the long edge, and then turned it inside out and hand stitched the edges. And then again, the bow was the same, so just a rectangle piece of fabric, sewed right sides together, leaving a little gap so you can pull the rest of it inside out. And then the same for the little tab.
Really easy, looks really cute obviously, and you know, the length that you need the band will just depend on how big your child's head is.
I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it or found it useful, or you'd like to see more, please subscribe and press the like button for this video, and otherwise I'll see you in my next video.